you can call 0330-606-0953. You can watch both sides of the story live on the Dervan Facebook page. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Both Sides 106. Email 106@live.com. Send your WhatsApp voice notes, audio messages, and text messages to 876-365-3346. Remember, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we speak. So stay with us as we listen to both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Hour 106.
What happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun, or fester like a sore and then run? Does it stink like rotten meat, or crust and sugar over like a syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load. Or does it explode?
Someday, this will be a better life. You can see me meaning, you can see me dreaming, but I'm sure someday you'll understand. It can all be better when we get it together and dream, dream, dream. I have a dream that someday we'll all work hand in hand. I have a dream that someday this is going to be a better day. Maybe you can't see my name, you can't dream, but I'm sure someday you'll understand. It can all be better if we get it together and dream, dream, dream. Oh, how sweet the words of love and peace sound to you. Only one thing wrong, my friends, to me say these words, not enough for sincere. Oh, the words of freedom, liberty stands out in my soul and my mind. Tears come to my eyes, just as a blind. I have a dream that someday we'll all walk hand in hand. I have a dream that someday for our children this will be their life. Now maybe you can't see my meaning, you can't see my dream, but I'm sure someday you'll understand. It can all be better if we get it together. And when you dream, dream, dream. Say it. Oh, my dream come true for me and for you. Dream the impossible dream.
It's the International Decade of Ecosystem Restoration, the International Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development, the Decade of Action for Road Safety, and the International Decade of Indigenous Languages. It's the second day of the fourth month of 2024. It's World Autism Awareness Month, and here in Jamaica, Cancer Awareness Month, Farmers Month, and Manufacturers Month activities continue. It's National Picnic Day in Iran, and the world is celebrating International Children's Book Day. Hoy es martes el 4 de abril 2024 y les saludamos en cualquier parte del mundo que nos están escuchando en este momento. Estamos muy agradecidos por el don de la vida y el privilegio de servirles en otra edición de su programa, Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia. Audiencia por sentado. Sabemos que ustedes tienen otras opciones y esta es la razón por la cual jamás olvidamos darle las gracias por elegir Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia, de lunes a viernes desde la tarde, aquí en Power 106 FM. Continúa para educar, capacitar, iluminar y estimular el espíritu empresarial. Bienvenidos. C'est mardi le 4 avril 2024 et nous vous saluons tous qui nous écoutez où que vous soyez dans le monde. Nous sommes reconnaissants du don de la vie ainsi que du privilège d'être votre service par une nouvelle édition de votre programme Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre. Nous ne considérons pas votre fidélité comme allant de soi parce que nous savons que vous avez l'embarras du choix. C'est pourquoi nous n'oublions jamais de vous remercier de choisir d'écouter Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre, du lundi au vendredi de 2h à 5h de l'après-midi sur notre antenne Power 106 FM. Nous continuons notre mission d'éduquer, d'habiliter, d'éclairer et d'encourager l'esprit d'entreprise. Bienvenue. And all we're saying after all of that is, it is Tuesday, the 4th of April, 2024. And we greet you well, wherever in the world you are listening to us right now. We remain eternally grateful for the gift of life and the privilege to serve you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. We don't ever take your listenership for granted because we know you have choices. And that's why we never ever forget to remember to say thanks for choosing to listen to Both Sides of the Story, Monday to Friday, 2 to 5, right here on Power 106 FM. The mission continues to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. Welcome.
I have a dream that someday this is going to be a better me. Maybe you can't see my name, you can't see my dream, but I'm sure someday you'll understand. It's all better. put it together and
Good afternoon to those of you listening to us on 106.1, 106.3, 106.5, 106.7, and 106.9. From Morant Point to Negril Point, from the Goat Islands to Galena Point. This is Power 106 FM, serving Jamaica and the diaspora. Hello to those tuned in via the Power 106 FM app, which you have downloaded from the App Store or the Google Play Store, depending on the nature of your device. Downloading is free, listening is free, whenever, wherever. We acknowledge those who have dialed a designated number to listen to Power 106 FM from the United States and the United Kingdom. We're looking forward to your full participation. After all, it is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. The numbers to call 876-922-4112-5. 876-922-4112-5. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but you can call us on WhatsApp as well. That number is 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. What's on your mind this afternoon? Feel free to share. Norman Hines is online. He says, blessed afternoon, Sir Dervan, Malcolm, and listeners. Blessed afternoon to you too, Norman Hines. Faye Weller says, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan and faithful listeners. Good afternoon, Faye Weller. Thank you for checking in. Good to have you on board both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM after that long break. And we appreciate those who played their part while others of us were engaging in other matters, including rest and relaxation. And so we look forward to your full participation. After all, it is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. And we should say hello to, who is this now? This is, let's bring this up. This is James in East London. Greetings to you, James in East London. Good to see you. And all the very best. And looking at some tragic situations as well. 3 British aid workers killed in Israeli airstrike in Gaza. And this was confirmed by one of the charity organizations. Thank you very much for listening. Let's take the break and come back.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:15.
The Auto World.
It's the only program on Jamaican radio dedicated to the world of automobile. It's the Auto World with Shelley and McLagan. Get news and reviews relating to vehicles and automotive technology. Learn the ins and outs of mechanical operation. Find out about the various stakeholders in the local and international automotive sectors. From auto finance to road safety to motorcycles, the Auto World is your one-stop shop for everything auto. That's the Auto World with Shelley and McLagan. Weekdays at 5:15 p.m. on Power 106 FM and the Power 106 FM app.
So here's James in East London sharing with us news of one of the UK's most wanted men. He has been arrested at the Heathrow Airport after 27 years on the run. Let's see if we can give you a little more on that story. And as usual, as we said, shared with us by James in East London. He is always anxious to share these developments with us here on both sides of the story, Poro 106 FM. And we oblige because it's a good thing in terms of keeping us informed at home and abroad. And we'll continue to try our best in that regard as we continue with more here on both sides of the story, Poro 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. And taking your calls on 876-922-4112 James in East London says, blessings, Sir Malcolm. Thank you very much, James in East London. Horace, otherwise known as Spider, says, I hear, where did it start? It started at this point. Let's see. $1.7 trillion the government cannot give an account for. I hear some figures being bandied about that could buy a lot of equipment and machine for people in the inner city that the government cannot give an account for the money. Civil society is speaking about it, but I don't hear anything from the government about it. It's like the government is saying, and say, me see it, I go around the corner, I may wonder why it a go around that corner. And we go behind it and look round the corner and look at the top, look at the bottom, and don't see where it turned. So I just go back to my bed, go sleep, says Horace, otherwise known as Spider, playfully. Rohan Johnson of Atlas Ocho has joined us. He says, good afternoon, Sir Malcolm. How was your Easter holiday? Mine was, well, it was great, actually. And mine was great, great, holy, coming from the birthday boy Rohan Johnson, Atlas Ocho clocking in, he says. And thank you very much, Rohan Johnson in Ocho Rios, St. Anne. And this one, there's another story here in relation to, while the others are joining us. Jeannie Chambers, good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for clocking in. Good to have you. We're just about to download this particular story. Our health is our wealth, and wellness is no laughing matter, says this headline. And this is from Carib Direct. All right, we will go through and see what we've got and share the information as best as we can. But in the meantime, thank you very much for your messages and keep them coming in. 876-922-4112-5. 876-922-4112-5. Text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. Valerie Weller Carpeck says, blessed afternoon to everyone. To you too, Valerie Weller Carpeck. And Jeannie Chambers says, good afternoon, teacher. Good afternoon, Jeannie Chambers. How are you? Good to have you on board. Thank you very much for making it both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Live on your smart devices all over the world. And let's see if we can start us off with a bit of history, Haitian history. We know the members of the Haitian community or the members of the citizens of Haiti have been grappling with all kinds of matters of state and nation. And for what it's worth, today is a significant day for the Haitians because it was on this day in 1796 that the Haitian revolt leader Toussaint Louverture took command of French forces at Santo Domingo on this day in 1796. So that's a piece of Haitian history there. 1796, the Haitian revolt leader Toussaint Louverture took command of French forces at Santo Domingo on this day in 1796. And here's one that is as close to Florida as it is to the story we just shared a while ago, or the information. The year was 1513. Near present day St. Augustine, Spanish explorer Juan Ponce de Leon came ashore on the Florida coast and claimed the territory for the Spanish crown. Although other European navigators may have sighted the Florida peninsula before, Ponce de Leon was credited with the first recorded landing and the first detailed exploration of the Florida coast. The Spanish explorer was searching for the Fountain of Youth, a fabled water source that was said to bring eternal youth. Ponce de Leon named the peninsula he believed to be an island La Florida because his discovery came during the time of the Easter feast, or Pascua Florida. Pascua Florida. In 1521, he returned to Florida in an effort to establish a Spanish colony on the island. However, hostile Native Americans attacked his expedition soon after landing, and the party retreated to Cuba, where Ponce de Leon died from a mortal wound suffered during the battle. Successful Spanish colonization of the peninsula finally began at St. Augustine in 1565, and in 1819, the territory passed into U.S. control under the terms of Florida Purchase Treaty, the Florida Purchase Treaty between Spain and the United States. We're still taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. And so we continue to seek your input and your participation as we continue with more here on both sides of the story, Power 106 FM, and from time to time, roll back the hands of time to share some of the notable happenings in our heritage and history over the decades. We trust you appreciate it as much as we appreciate you. And thank you very much. 1946, for the first time since the beginning of World War II in 1939, New cars were imported into Jamaica and went on show at John Crook Limited on Hanover Street in downtown Kingston. Scores of prospective buyers crowded the dealers' offices to buy or order shiny new Austin 8s, Austin 10s, and Austin 16s, while the curious left with brochures to go home and dream. And because of the time of the year that we're broadcasting right now, we'll always find information on champs and politics and related matters down the years. So we have a bit of that to share with you as well here on both sides of the story. So, for example, 1949, throwing of the discus was introduced at the Intersecondary Championship Sports at Sabina Park in Kingston, and is won by R.H. Jordan of Wilmer's Boys School with a heave of 101 feet 1 inch. Vin Lumsden of Monroe and D.J. Beckford of Kingston College placed second and third, respectively. Wilmer's Boys School won champs on this day in 1949. 1952, the People's National Party announced the formation of a new trade union under its sponsorship to be known as the National Workers' Union, NWU. A provisional committee was being set up to organize the union. Officers of the provisional committee were Noel Nethersole, president, A.G.S. Coombs, vice president, Florizel Glasspool, general secretary, Vernon Arnett, treasurer, and Norman Manley, legal advisor. Arrangements were being made for the temporary headquarters of the union to set up at 129 Tower Street in Kingston. 1952, movie star Errol Flynn concluded negotiations for the purchase of the Titchfield Hotel at Port Antonio in Portland. Titchfield, which at the time was one of the oldest hotels in Jamaica, had a capacity of 50 beds. Errol Flynn planned to increase the number of rooms and change the name of the hotel. 1953, a claim for damages for alleged breach of promise of marriage was filed by Solicitor T. Newton Willoughby in the Supreme Court on behalf of Dorothy Lynch, hairdresser of Little Tarrant Lane in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew, against Leonard Burton, a clerk of Camperdown Road in eastern Kingston. It was the first such suit to be filed in Jamaica in living memory. Let's go to the break and come back.
Knowledge is power. Class is in session, Power 106.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:30. Mosquitoes will breed in containers that hold water. Tightly cover water storage containers such as drums, buckets, and tanks, or cover the water surface with cooking oil. Punch holes in all tins, plastic containers, and boxes to prevent the collection of water before disposal. Cover old tires or fill with dirt. Scrub all vases once per week to remove mosquito eggs and dispose of garbage by placing in plastic bags. Do your part to prevent mosquito breeding.
A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Importers. Shipments requiring you to pay customs duties and taxes are cleared on a customs goods declaration, known as an IM4 or IMS4. Ask your clearing agent to provide your customs declaration, customs assessment notice, and customs receipt once duties and taxes are paid. Where your clearing agent may not be able to provide the IM4 or IMS4, request your customs goods declaration registration number or C number, which can be used to verify your payments. Importers, request your IM4, IMS4, or C number. It is your right. For details, email the Jamaica Customs Agency at public.relations@jca.gov.jm. Jamaica Customs, keeping our customers in focus.
Mass Party,
Oh, your pepper and tomato feel a shine so like morning star. Wait, then you not hear about the new mighty side name Pegastar from Caribbean Chemicals? I hit me use, man. And from me start use it, why the results is so tremendous. Make me go grab a bottle of Pegastar up at the farm store there. Star up your field with Pegastar, mighty side insecticide, 2 in 1. Be safe, read the label, wear your PPE. Pegastar, distributed by Caribbean Chemicals and available at farm stores island-wide.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112 to 5, 876-922-4112 to 5. This one is a notification from the Ministry of Health and Wellness Jamaica, declaring as fake information. Well, since it's confirmed to be fake, I think we should move on from here and don't engage in a multiplicity of fakes and faking. So but that information is out there. That is out there. And it is what it is in that regard. But in the meantime, keep those messages coming in and those calls, 876-922-4112 to 5, 876-922-4112 to 5. Good afternoon to Natalie Winter. Good to see you online, Natalie. Thank you very much for tuning in. And all the very best to you. Thank you. As we continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Horror 106 FM. 1953, Governor Sir Hugh Foote and a deputation from the KSAC finalized plans for converting the Kingston Racecourse into a park and playing fields for school children as a memorial to the late King George VI, for which £20,000 had been approved by the government. In addition to fountains, benches, and other facilities, a new Parliament building would be constructed on the lands. However, the stadium envisaged at this site would be built instead. However, the stadium envisaged at this site would be built instead at Tinsonpen in Western Kingston. City engineer Frank Brunsthorpe, Public Works Director W.Y. Furtado, Town Planner D.W. Sprell, and the Superintendent of Public Gardens Jack Downs were charged with the responsibility for the landscaping and beautification project. So how much of that has been done? A deputation from the KSAC finalizing plans for converting the Kingston Racecourse into a park and playing fields for school children. Well, it was converted to a park, which was a racetrack, and it is now corporate offices and other residential properties, commercial properties, rental properties, etc. All right, so that's that. And 19 Still in 1953, but I think we shared most of that information already. So we're going to move on to information re Sir Harold Allen. Sir Harold Allen, who died intestate on February 18, 1953, had left real and personal estate valued at £13,200. Application for administration was made to the Supreme Court by Clinton Hart and Company, solicitors on behalf of Lady, who's that now? Lady Ina or Edna? Something isn't right there. Some typo or other error. Allen and one of the next of kin of Sir Harold, personality, was pat down at £1,200 and really 12,000 gross annual value of realty was set at £1,200. And then there's Charles Johnson, who died at his home on Osborne Road, St. Andrew, in his 86th year, 1957. He was a pioneer in the formation of the cooperative movement in the banana industry. He was managing director of the Jamaica Banana Producers Association, director of the Jamaica Fruit and Shipping Company, director of Adolph Levy and Broadbent Limited, and director of Kingston Wharves. Johnson was born in Lucy, Hanover in 1871, received his early education at elementary school, after which he entered the banana industry as a junior clerk. The National Advisory Council on Aeronautics, NASA, was renamed on this day in 1958. Also in 1958, Chief Minister Norman Manley, former Rhodes Scholar of Jesus College, Oxford University, was elected an Honorary Fellow of Jesus College. The title, Honorary Fellow, was one of the highest distinctions that a college at Oxford or Cambridge can bestow. Any persons holding the distinction, says an official release from the university, is at all times warmly welcomed at the college which bestows the distinction. Jesus College is one of Oxford's 27 colleges and was founded by Queen Elizabeth I in 1571. 1959, a provision of £1,540 was made in the estimates for the year 1959-1960 to purchase an official motor car for the Chief Minister, Norman Manley. For the first time, Mr. Manley had been using his personal motor car for his duties since his appointment in 1955. And I'm reminded, talking about leaders and motor vehicles, I'm reminded of the experience broadcasting from the Jerk Festival in Bermuda and seeing this man from afar parking his car and walking a long distance from the perimeter fence to a section of the property where the Jerk Festival was taking place. And if you didn't know who he was, then you'd perhaps be surprised to know that that was the premier of Bermuda. No security detail, just a casual walk from entering onto the field to the area where the event was more concentrated. He just walked in, greeted those of us who were there, and went to enjoy some jerk chicken and whatever else. And that was that. That was that. Linford Christie, the athlete, was born in St. Andrew on this day in 1960. 1960. 1962, His Royal Highness the Duke of Edinburgh arrived at the Palisadoes Airport about 2:55 p.m. On this day in 1962, Prince Philip's visit was 45 minutes. Prince Philip waved to some female members of the Red Cross and other hurricane relief groups who had just been presented to him by virtue of their work for British Honduras after Hattie's damage in October 1961. That would be Hurricane Hattie, Hattie. And right, the Royal aircraft left for Grand Cayman about 3:55 p.m. So that was a short visit, a quick visit. 1962, a bill providing for dissolution of the West Indies Federation on the cessation of Jamaica and Trinidad was passed unopposed by the House of Commons, as the West Indies Bill had already been passed by the House of Lords. It only now or then awaited the formal royal assent to become law. Labour members complained in the Commons earlier about a lack of consultation between the British government and West Indian federal ministers on the federal parliament's proposals for compensation for loss of office. 1962, still with us, 1962, the charter creating the University of the West Indies was passed, empowering the university to take over the rights, property, liabilities, and engagements of its predecessor, the University College of the West Indies. His Royal Highness, Her Royal Highness, the Princess Alice, is appointed by Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth as the first Chancellor of the University of the West Indies. W. Arthur Lewis was the first Vice Chancellor. 1963, Development and Welfare Minister Edward Seaga informed a deputation from the St. Catherine Parish Council that it is not feasible at present for financial reasons to give consideration to the removal of the St. Catherine District Prison from Spanish Town. The council passed a resolution some time ago calling on the removal of the prison, as it was demoralizing to have it in the heart of the town.
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:45.
Rise and shine. Rise and shine. Oh.
Get ready for stories to motivate and inspire. Every Sunday at 4 p.m., Power 106 FM is delighted to bring you the program Rise and Shine with Phyllis, hosted by author and ordained minister of New Thought Christianity, Reverend Dr. Phyllis Green. Hear the tales of powerful Jamaicans at home and abroad from all walks of life who have risen above the odds to achieve great feats and to shine their light for the world to see. Get ready to be stimulated by inspiring conversations, meditation, and music. Get ready to rise and shine with Phyllis with Reverend Dr. Phyllis Green, Sundays 4 to 5 p.m. live on Power 106 FM and the Power 106 FM app.
Rise and shine. Clear your mind. Oh. Rise and shine. Rise and shine. Oh.
See my dream, but I'm sure someday you'll understand.
Get to know you better.
Thank you very much for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Horror 106 FM. Good afternoon, Nicola in central Jamaica. Inez Ayona Campbell says, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan, viewers and listeners. Good afternoon, Inez Ayona Campbell. Velta Wilson says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm and listeners. Good afternoon, Velta Wilson. Thank you for tuning in. Good to have you on board both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. And I think today is the 2nd of April. So that means somebody's having a birthday today. But the question is, yeah, people have birthdays every day. So who are we referring to now? This is Olivia. Olivia, I think Olivia is having a birthday today. And looks like they're off to have some fun. And because, of course, they're still on school break, they're still on the Easter break. So they seem to be soaking it all in and enjoying all that's been happening. So hello to Olivia. Good afternoon to you. Let me see. Guess who is 11 today? Those are the words captioning a couple of the photographs. 3 years ago on the North Coast for a couple of days. And a picture, a lovely picture of a few hours ago. Well, by all means, Olivia, enjoy yourself. We know that big sister and mommy and the family will continue to take care of you. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing the photos. All the very best. And let's go down the line and clear some more messages. 876-922-4112-5. Text line same as the WhatsApp number. 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. And just in case you haven't been able to follow the news because you've been busy working, let's give you a quick update and see what's happening. Jamaica Teachers Association, JTA, calling for a review of how funds are disbursed to schools. This is a long-standing debate, long-standing discussion, long-standing concern, long-standing issue. It goes way back from the days I used to produce Independent Talk with Ronnie Thwaites. So we trust once and for all that matter can be laid to rest. President of the Jamaica Teachers Association, JTA Leighton Johnson, is calling on the Education Ministry to review how funds are disbursed to schools across the island. He was speaking at a JTA function. Pistol seized in Industry St. James. The Adelphi police seized a Taurus pistol during an operation in Industry St. James on Tuesday. The police say about 9:51 a.m. they were on operation in the area when they saw 3 men on a motorcycle. On seeing the police, the pillions, alighted from the motorcycle and ran into bushes while the driver turned and drove off in the opposite direction. The area was searched and the firearm found along the roadside. No arrest was made in connection with the find. What an obsession we have with the gun in Jamaica. This one, the Calypsonian says, this one have a gun, that one have a gun. Whoa, they go shoot each other for fun. When the men kill the men, all that remain is women. What a pity. What a pity. And there is some information with respect to the CCJ, full membership of the CCJ. That's the Caribbean Court of Justice. Trinidad and Tobago is apparently still divided on CCJ full membership. The story says Trinidad and Tobago remains divided on whether the country should become a full member of the Caribbean Court of Justice, CCJ, with at least the head of one group of lawyers calling for a referendum on the issue. Despite being based in Port of Spain, Trinidad and Tobago, like a number of CARICOM countries, is only a signatory to the original jurisdiction of the court that was established in 2001 by regional leaders to replace the London-based Privy Council as the region's highest court. The CCJ also functions as an international tribunal interpreting the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas that governs the 15-member regional integration movement. Only Barbados, Belize, Dominica, and Guyana are full members of the court that has both an original and appellate jurisdiction. And the story goes on. You can read on for further information as we continue to update you on some of the happenings at home and abroad. And in the meantime, taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. And this tragic bit of news here about the victims of a Portland crash, a man and his 6-year-old son. That's another story that is doing the rounds, or as is said these days, trending. That's one of the trending stories. Taking a while. We'll perhaps come back to that link another time in the interest of time. As we continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. So the story is the police have released the names of the 2 people who died from injuries sustained in a 2-vehicle crash along the Ferry Hill Main Road in Portland on Monday night. They are 53-year-old David Woolery of a Zion Hill address and his 6-year-old son, Jaden Woolery. The police say about 10:18 p.m. the father was driving a gray Suzuki Swift along the Ferry Hill Main Road when the driver of a red Toyota Corolla attempted to overtake his vehicle, resulting in a collision. The father and his son and daughter, who were in the vehicle, were rushed to the Port Antonio hospital. The father and son died, while the daughter was admitted in critical but stable condition. The driver of the Corolla has reportedly been warned for prosecution. So that's just another of the stories trending and will feature, no doubt, in the major news at 5 o'clock. In the meantime, let's greet Cherry Henry. Good afternoon, Cherry Henry. Thank you for joining us. Mikey Jarrett says, Tuesday afternoon, blessings and blessed love, my brother Dervan Malcolm from Brooklyn, New York. Welcome, Mikey Jarrett from Brooklyn, New York. And to all the other members of the Jamaican community in Brooklyn, New York, good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for tuning in. Good to have you on board. Let's check in with the text line. Let's see what's up on WhatsApp. And the text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, 876 365 3346. 876 365 3346. And let's see what Ellerid has here. Oh, a couple of videos. Well, we haven't been able to audition those videos. Sorry about that. So we can't just play them like that. And let's go to this one. Patrick says, good afternoon, Sir Malcolm. Let me say condolences to the family of the late Joseph Manning, a.k.a. That's a little too strong. I mean, that's his alias, but surely, well, let it not be said that we perpetuated that. Yeah, well, it is what it is, but it's a little on the rough side. So Patrick goes on to say he left us on Sunday, March 31st. He was the CEO of Whitman and Associates Limited and lives on Tar Street in downtown Kingston. So that's from Patrick. Thank you very much for your message, Patrick, and our regards to the family, friends, colleagues. As we continue with more on both sides of the story after the break.
Contractors, developers, and small builders. Contact Coast to Coast Group of Companies for high quality concrete products. The time by Coast to Coast Group of Companies is
3 o'clock.
Join Dr. Herbert Gale Mondays and Tuesdays.
If you don't sit down and make an overall investment in your human resource and you keep just allowing your very best to go, you are going to end up weaker.
And tune in to Simon Crosskill from Wednesday to Friday.
The majority of people in Jamaica are good, decent, honest, hardworking people. What we are doing is we are allowing a minority to control the narrative.
Featuring The Bottom Line with Ralston Hyman, the best public affairs banter on Jamaican radio.
Everything is connected. If you have more of your people employed and you're operating at full capacity, you're supposed to be getting more output, not less.
It's Power Talk, weekdays 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Identifying challenges and finding solutions in a globalized world. Make it a date. Join us.
This is going to be a better day. Maybe you can't see my moon, you can't see my dream, but I'm sure someday you'll understand.
Hello to Miss Evadne, who is tuned in as usual. She says, hello, Mr. Malcolm and family, wishing you all a happy Easter holidays. Well, this belated, but it's still accepted. Thank you very much. And greetings to Kevin Galloway as well, Franklin McDonald in Guelph, Canada. And we'll check that out on another score. Going down the line now. Oh, this is Times Square. Is this for real? Is this for real? All right, we'll check that out. We'll have to check with Dr. Trevor Dixon about that. Because you don't just get on one of those multimedia screens in Times Square just like that. So maybe someone is just fooling around. But thank you for your message and all the very best as we continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5. Text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346, 876-365-3346. Barry One Love is also messaging us. Thank you very much, Barry One Love. And all the very best to you. As we go up the line. And Patrick is following up. All right, we'll look out for your follow-up message, Patrick. Karen Rowe says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm and listeners. I pray you all had a wonderful Easter. Indeed, thank you very much, Karen Rowe, and all the very best as we continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power